myself Neenu Suresh. We are here present at the 17th All India Conference of CITU. We have with us a special guest, Comrade Mercykutty Amma, who is currently the National Vice President of CITU. She was formerly the Minister of Fisheries with the Government of Kerala. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking. Ma'am, the topic for the day is the problems facing working women in the country. Let me start with a basic question, a fundamental question. What are the issues that are facing working women in the country at present?
The working women facing the main issue is the job laws and low wages and the status of women and all that. On the 6th century BC, we check the Buddha and Mahavir era. Some of the important thing that time we see. It launched a movement against the birth-based inequality. With the great significance for the women at that era. Nowadays, the religion gives a privilege to some and deprived of the rest. It should be erased from the face of the earth. That is the women and deprived OBC and backward class all are facing same. The most issue is the faces the women. That discrimination is more. So we check our constitution norms or equal rights for all.
Yes.
But nowadays the discrimination is prevalent everywhere. That is the main thing. And the women employed, which was everywhere, all time the low wages decline in a bigger rate of the loss of the wages. That is the main thing. And the I think the 1 crore of women working in schemes work. That is the unemployment grows. That the most of the women compelled to do that scheme work. But they have no social security, they have no wages, even they are recognized as worker or employee. That is the main thing in faces the women. Our constitution provides the equality, but it is not available anymore. That is the main thing. According to the estimated that the unpaid domestic worker contribute more to the economy than the manufacturing, commerce and transportation sector. That is the situation. We have demanded that the job be accorded in the GDP calculation and extent of contribution to the economy, and their exploitation be assessed and recognized. That's the most important thing. Their contribution must be assessed and recognized. In our country, our government itself is exploiting the worker. That's women directly by utilizing their social status. The scheme workers will deliver most crucial service to the people. Then not even recognized and worker or employee told. It is estimated that women's wages are 34% less than the men.
Yes.
That is some crucial thing. Doing the same job in rural area and 90% less than in urban area. Compared to men and women, it is less in rural area, 34% less, in urban area 90% less. That is the situation. India has the highest wage gap country. In all around the world, India has the highest wage gap country. The population to prepare population believe such uncivilized discrimination increases the high qualification and and seniority. The gender pay gap is more in IT sector than in construction sector. It is in older days we heard in Malayalam Pannalu Analu the wage difference. But in modern days in IT sector the discrimination prevailed in more than construction workers. That is a situation.
The wage gap is
Wage gap. The men hold some more, but the women workers less payment. The wage gap is more in IT sector than in construction sector. That is the reality nowadays. This situation, how can we overcome this?
Yeah.
This is the main problem we face. That is, I understand that in Bangalore city, 30 lakhs of women work in IT sector. Women and boys, and also IT sector employee nearly 30 lakhs. They all are low paid worker. That is very serious. That most of them are women worker, and they get very less payment. To organize the scheme workers like IT sector workers also must be organized and to struggle the better wages and living condition and all that. That is the situation prevailing in the modern India. That is very serious.
A question related to that would be, ma'am, comrade, we see like better favorable conditions for women than in the past. For instance, the declining fertility rates or better education. But still we see the labor force participation rate of women is declining. Why is that happening? Despite better
that is the exploitation of the capitalist system. The capitalist system, they get more gain. But at that time, they purposely engage the women workers and all that. They give low wages and they gain more profits. That is the main thing. In now the new education policy, it is very dangerous thing. The education policy, I understand that nowadays in northern state, in Kerala is exception one. Northern state, the rural area, most of the government school closed. That faced the women education very serious threat they faced. That is the main thing in rural India, rural Kerala, the North India and the Middle India, and except Kerala, the education policy seriously affected the girl students and the education of women. That is the main thing we faced.
So the main reason for labor force, the declining labor force participation rate would be the capital accumulation.
The system of the capitalism, they work for more profit. Then the exploitation is the workforce. The contractualization is the main thing. The wage is low and no social security measures. The main thing is this system. They exploitation more that the working women and more.
Comrade, given that the working women in the country are more like more than 95% of our working women are in the informal sector.
Yes.
How are we organizing them? The challenges this poses like much more.
Yes, we face the very big challenge to organize the informal sector workers. The 95% of the workforce is informal sector. That is more are women. The domestic worker and in garment making, then assembling sector. You know that the women doing this like type of work, the wages they will get very low. The unorganized sector, the workforce is more, and 95% of the workforce in rural area. That is correct. In rural area, we face very problem, the cadre shortage and all that. And then the mamul, and then we organize the women worker. It is very serious thing. We face more threatened to organize the women workers. that our goal is to organize the unorganized sector, reach to unreached. That is our slogan. The CITU last conference we raised a slogan to reach unreached. That is how to organize all that rural area and very backward area. We go there and to organize there and to raise a slogan like the wages and social security measures and all that. Then they to organize to fight against this exploitation. That is only a remedy. Other remedy is not.
Yeah, another question related to this one would be, we see traditional trade unions, mostly when the demands are being raised, it is against the employer versus the worker. But when it comes to the new trade unions, in which a lot of informal workers are also now members, we see their demands speak more in terms of women's welfare than in terms of women's rights. Whereas the traditional trade unions, they emphasis on women's rights, the worker rights of women. So there are different strategies that trade unions are taking in to organize women workers. What are the strategies that CITU is taking up in organizing the women workers?
The whole problem faced by the workers is not the financial problem only. The system itself exploit the workers. We understand like that and organize them and teach them to fight against the policy of the government. The policy of the government is the main enemy of worker. That is the main thing.
Okay.
All policies of the capitalist government, all policies, the more exploitation to workers and all that. We simply raise the slogan of financial ground only that. We change the situation, then only we can get more. Otherwise, we under the exploitation everywhere. That is the main thing. So the system fight against the system. That is the important thing. So the understanding of the worker is like that. They are more learning about the policy of the government and all that. Then only they can overcome the problem faced by the workers.
How do we how do we work on improving the political consciousness of the women workers? How is CITU working towards
that? That is only organization, via organization to overcome the problem. So we organize the low wage worker and rural area worker and unorganized sector worker. So we take the slogan of reach to unreach. That is the main thing. The base of the slogan is to reach everywhere, every worker, every woman worker and low paid worker, and that is the then only overcome the situation. Otherwise, the organization and the consciousness of the worker raise this base, then only overcome.
So our strategies, do they change from organizing in workplace to households, or is there any?
Yes, the nowadays the home-based work is more and more nowadays. Not they not seen their employer.
Yes.
That is the main thing they faced. So that is the policy. So we fight against this policy. Otherwise we can't escape. That is the main thing. The employer is unseen. And the workplace, the contract work and the piece rate work and domestic work, they are not seen their employer who is. That is the main thing we faced. So we educate the worker like this and to organize them and to fight against this policy, then the better life, achieve to better life and all that.
Comrade, is there any difference in organizing women workers in rural areas and in urban areas?
Yes, urban area, the scarcity of the cadre is main problem we faced. In rural area, the more cadres we have, In urban area, we develop the cadre and the dedicated cadre we have. Otherwise, we can't overcome this type of problem. The exploitation is more unseen exploitation. That is the thing we faced. So we should understand the problem what is. Then to take up the issue and to educate the workers and to organize them and fight against them.
Comrade, next would be specific to the times that we are living. We know that the COVID-19 pandemic has imposed an unequal impact on the women workers. How is CITU tackling that, the new challenges that have?
That is the 90% of the wages. In recent day, the ILO report comes. That is in India is the more in European countries and in America also for the GDP the certain percentage they spend for workers and the production sector. In India, very low portion of the GDP to spend for workers and all that. That is situation is very serious and regret the workers' life and all that. We educate the people, they have the experience like that. We educate the workers and to fight against this situation only overcome.
Okay. Comrade, my last question would be, it's more than 40 years since the All India Coordination Committee of Working Women was formed. And we have a general criticism against trade unions that the traditional trade unions do not understand the specific identity of women workers. So I would like you to elaborate more on how the leadership in the trade union in CITU and the organizing and the movement of working women in CITU.
Now the CITU leadership realized the issue. Then they have taken more initiative to organize the women cadres and to develop the cadreship. Our part of the trade union is the most important slogan is to encourage and develop the women cadres and to help them to take up the issues and all that. So we realize that it is a serious problem we faced. And the CITU leadership is very concerned about this problem, and they are more initiative to organize and develop the women cadres.
Okay.
In every time this conference also take up the issue to direct all state committees and all federation to take up this issue and develop the women cadres and take up the issues of women workers and all that.
It's only through such concerted effort.
Yes,
like
yes.
In 1970s, I understand it was just 6% of the working class. In CITU, the membership was of working women, right? Now it's some 34%.
Now it's some 34% average. In Karnataka, the 50% of the membership is women worker.
Yes.
In northern
Anganwadi
state,
worker.
most of the Anganwadi, Asha and unorganized worker. In most of the northern state, the component of the membership is more women than men. That is the reality nowadays. In Kerala, the membership, we have 33% of the women membership. And now we have 27 lakh membership. 9 lakh membership is women membership. And other state, the more participation is the other men, women are more.
That's encouraging.
Yes.
Thank you, comrade. Thank you for accepting our request and for all those, for sharing your opinion with us.
Thank you.